Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast, episode 272. My name is Idavine. My co-host still abandoned me on this episode. They're still not here yet. Shout out Migs though, and shout out Elena, whatever they're doing. I know Elena was in Disney World a few days ago, and I think she's in Georgia now. Migs is working at the AMP. As you all know, he's the camera director over there, so he just stays really, really busy. So I'm doing this episode by myself, but I'm excited about the company that I have today. Joining us today from Ecstasy Barber Studio, we have Yair Benitez, also known as Yaib the Barber, and John Castañeda, known as C. Blesses. Thank you both for joining us today. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Today is a beautiful day outside. I was telling y'all that yesterday I strained a muscle on my leg, so I'm limping a little bit, but besides that, kind of what you said, Yair, it's another day of being alive, and that's a blessing to be alive. So I'm just excited to be here, and I'm excited to learn about what y'all are doing. I think it's really cool to see a big event like this being created in Northwest Arkansas and by young, Latino people. That's always a plus. But for the people that don't know either one of you, the people that haven't followed you on social media yet, can you tell us a little bit about, are you both originally from Arkansas?
So me, I was born in Bentonville actually, but I was raised here in Rogers, Arkansas. I've been here I'm 21 now. So I was born and raised here in Arkansas. And
how's it called? I was born in Greenwich, Connecticut. But
oh shoot!
Yeah, I was born
That's
out there.
That's random, bro. Are you a wrestling fan, a pro wrestling fan?
Well, Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody from Greenwich, Connecticut, man.
Yeah, I'm from out there, and how's it called? I was there for about a year. Well, my parents lived in New York, but I was born in Greenwich, Connecticut, because I had an aunt at the time that worked at a hospital there, and they kind of knew the people, the staff members, and all the doctors. So they decided to have me there, and then a year later, after living in New York, we moved out to Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's still pretty random.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing have people brought up Triple H whenever you say that, or is that just something that is well known in the area?
Growing up, I had quite a few amount of people tell me that, oh, Triple H is from there. I'm like, yeah, I know.
And people would know, right? Because in pro wrestling, when someone comes out, it's from Greenwich, Connecticut. Is it Greenwich, right? Greenwich, Connecticut. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. How did y'all end up over here in Arkansas from going from there to Los Angeles and then here?
So at the time, my dad. So we lived in L.A. for quite a amount of years, and then we moved out to San Bernardino, California. I don't know if you know where that's at. Kind of by Victorville and Fontana area and all that. It's from the people who are from there. It's kind of a rough area to grow up in. So my dad didn't want that for us, for me and my little sister. And so what happened was that he was also having problems at his job. He used to drive from San Bernardino all the way to Beverly Hills. And that's from 5 in the morning. He would leave the house because he had to clock in at 9. And everybody from San Bernardino who works in Los Angeles is trying to make that drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how's it called? He was just tired of that. And I had an uncle out here that was moving here. Mm-hmm. And he's all like, hey, I'm moving to Rogers, Arkansas. It's a pretty nice area. And at the time, the houses were pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. And my dad was like, you know what? Let's all 4 of us move, start somewhere new and out from there, see how it goes.
Do you remember what year that was?
It was 2020, a week or 2 weeks before COVID.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I forget. Sometimes I forget how young the people are that I'm talking to. Because I was thinking of 2002, 2003, because that's the time when I moved over here from California, and that was probably close to the time that y'all were born, right?
03. We're both from 03.
And it was kind of very similar. We lived in I'm from Salinas, California, but we lived in Gonzales, California, and we lived right in the center of where the gangs were at. And my dad also was like, hey, we need to leave here. We have a uncle over there in Springdale who knows how to get a job at the poultry factories, and that seems to be a very reoccurring story for a lot of Latinos. Yeah. It's always they have an uncle over here, or they have an aunt that told them about the jobs over here. And whenever we got here, it was still, I think Latinos were starting to do things here. I think it took 10 years to adapt to this area. When people moved here, and then they started thriving more in the early 2000s and stuff. So it's cool to see where we're at now, especially if you go to Rogers, if you go to Springdale, like there's just so many Latinos with different businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, we packed our bags. We put everything into our little black Camaro and headed this way without not knowing what the future looked like. And I bet you a lot of our listeners have very similar experiences.
Yeah.
So y'all get over here, and what does your family like? Do they have any difficulty like adapting to the area, or how does that look like for your family specifically?
So us moving down here, it was pretty difficult, man. Like I said, it was 2 weeks before COVID hit here, and it was the talk that was going around and stuff, and people were wondering if things were going to be open, things were going to be shut and all that. And what happened was that so we decided to move out here, and on the way over here, we already had a house that was going to be rented out to us in Rogers. And I told my mom right when we were in Oklahoma, entering Oklahoma, I was like, hey, you should give the lady a call to see if if the house would still be ours to move into. And she made the call, and the lady, like, on the same day that we were arriving here, she was like, no, like, I'm not going to give you guys the house anymore. The house isn't available. And so luckily we had a uncle out here that moved out from Florida, and he lives in Avoca. And you know how Avoca is, where it's like trailer park homes and stuff. And so it was pretty difficult. We lived there for a week and a half. And luckily my mom has another cousin that lives here. How's it called? She had a house available, but other people were living in the house. She only had one room, so it was me, my mom, my dad, my sister. It was 4 of us, and at the time I had 4 dogs in one room for about 2 months, because when COVID hit, there was no banks giving out loans or anything, so it was pretty hard living out here.
But now, are y'all in a more stable place now?
Yeah, we have almost heading into 5 years now living here, and it's been nothing but a blessing. I feel like what we have achieved here, what I have achieved here, and my business partner has achieved here, like Rogers, Arkansas was able to give us an opportunity to grow, to do what we wanted to do.
And how did y'all meet each other?
So we actually met at the gym. We had a mutual friend of ours who he'd been knowing for a while, because he grew up with him in school. But we actually went to the same school, but we never said like, hey, what's up to each other. I've seen him around a few times, but when I was a senior, I was stuck with a lot of freshman classes based because of graduation requirements. So all of the classes that I took in California weren't getting transferred over. Yeah.
So are you a little bit older than?
By a couple months, by like 3 months.
Okay,
older.
but y'all were in the same grade then.
Yeah, we were in the same grade.
Didn't talk to each other and stuff. So then, how does this partnership begin then? How do you start talking to each other, and how long did it take for y'all to be like, we should become business partners?
Well, basically, I mean, like how you said, we met at the gym, and it was just kind of like a, hey, what's up, bro? Like, oh, nice to meet you type of thing. And we ended up kicking it together, going to the gym every other day. And it was just like, I don't know. It was just a quick click. And then at the time I was cutting hair as well. I was still sort of learning, and starting to get my clientele. And then he hit me up. He's like, hey, bro, like, can you cut my hair? Booked an appointment, pulled up to my garage. We started talking from there.
So were you a barber first?
Yeah, I was a barber
first.
Yeah, I started cutting hair my sophomore year in high school. Okay. Yeah, so I started cutting hair my sophomore year in high school. And from there on out, man, I mean, I was cutting up my whole soccer team. I was playing for the Heritage soccer team as well. So, I got all the guys in, giving them free haircuts. And so then when I met John at the gym, we started talking and everything. He came to the garage, and he got a haircut with me. And from there, we just started kicking it, man. And it went from, like, strangers to, like, really, really good friends. Like, me, I've always tried to help out people and stuff like that. And there's sometimes, people stab your back and this and that. But this one, I felt different. Like, I was like, dang, man, it was pretty cool, like, meeting someone that was going to keep. Like, I already felt, like, the connection. Like, it was, like, a real connection. And I know he had, like, thoughts about becoming a barber. And we talked about that. And he's like, dang, bro, I want to become a barber. And at the time, he was working at Home Depot. And I had already, like, quit my job. I was working at Marshall's and Rogers. And I told him like, hey man, like you do this, like just give him some tips, and like, and then you can start cutting hair. Maybe we can all both go to barber school and then get our license, and maybe in the future we can open up our own shop. It was just a thought. And then we ended up going to barber school. We started cutting hair in his garage as well. So we were both cutting in our garages. And then we every time after, all the appointments we were done with, we would go and kick it. We would just go out to eat, or just go and just do friend things. And then after that, so we went to barber school. Barber school was.
How long does that take?
A barber school, I mean, they say 10 months to about a year, but sometimes, weather, like snow days and stuff like that backtracks you. And then there's days that you obviously have to miss. So that backtracked us a little bit. And yeah, man, I mean, barber school, it was not the best for me. It was not the best experience. But we got through it. And then after barber school, he went to go work for another shop, and I went to go work for another shop as well. And so throughout the time, we still kept in touch and everything like that. And we still had, our hopes of having our own barbershop one day. And then we were about like 7 to 8 months in working at different shops. And one day I just came into his shop that he was working at, and we were just like, hey, bro, like, how about like let's open up a shop together, like let's get something going. And he's like, yeah, man, like I'm down. And I just felt that really good connection. I had that really good vibe in me, and yeah, man, we pulled through. And luckily, I have a good friend from high school that. He does real estate as well, and he helped us out with the whole process of finding a place. Yeah, man, after that, we found a place. It used to be an actual realtor's office. And so, yeah, we went in there. It was like, man, it was a crazy-looking building inside, I'm just like, dang, what can we do in here? Like, it was so many rooms. And we both walked in, and the vision was there. Like, we saw it, we saw what we could do. We explained it. We talked to it in existence, and we made it happen. And, thank God for all the blessings that he gave us along the way, despite the fact that we were both 19 years old at the time. A lot of people, I mean, this is a big advice that I give out to people, is that regardless if you're young, like, I'd rather do all the mistakes now when you're young than when you're older, because when you're older, sometimes you're going to have kids, you're going to have family, you're going to have stuff that depends on you, So let out all the mistakes now when you're younger, because you got those years to help you back out, to get yourself back on track. So if you don't pull the trigger when you're young, man, you don't want to live with that regret. So always do everything when you're young.
That makes sense. And where do you think y'all got that mindset from? Like, are your parents like the kind of people that kind of instill this kind of mindset on y'all, or is it something that you just kind of learned yourself to think this way?
Honestly, well, I mean, my parents are very, very hardworking parents. My dad originally they came from Michoacán, La Piedad, Michoacán. My dad he moved over to Stockton, California with my uncle, he's passed away now. But yeah, he helped him, move around. He started working in the fields in Stockton, California, and then, try to get, his life together and all that stuff like that. And then we had it was a good uncle over here in Rogers, Arkansas. And he helped us with the whole moving process. So my dad got his residency here in Rogers. And then he applied for residency for my both of my brothers, and then for my mom as well. And then they came down here. They were staying in a small duplex. So it was my mom, my dad, my two older brothers, one of my cousins, two of my uncles, and my aunt. So
all in one place?
All in one place. And there's only, I think, 2 rooms in there. So it was a bunch of people in one little duplex. And I remember them telling me about stories that back in the day, there's like a lot of snow days, and there's like, I don't know, the snow was like up to your to your knees and stuff, and they didn't have a car at the time, so they went through a lot of struggle. Like when I was basically born, so they were still in the duplex when I was like, I think 1 or 2 years old. So yeah, they went through a lot of struggle when they got here, but luckily, they got themselves, going and everything like that.
So was it just you maybe witnessing that or knowing of that story that was kind of like, I need to like get shit done now kind of thing, even if I'm young, like I needed to do now, because not that you don't want to end up, like in the situation that your family was in, but as in like maybe you and your family already know what the struggle is like, and that it's worth taking risks to see, how successful you can be.
Yeah, I mean, it gave me that type of mindset. Like I looked up to my parents, you know, of how they were very hardworking and always providing for me and my older brothers as well. And then it just kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, dang man, like I'm their last like blessing in this world. Like, what can I do to help out my parents, despite the fact that they were older when they when I came into this world. They were about 35, 36 years old. So yeah, I was just like, man, like what can I do to make my parents proud? Like what can I do to help retire my parents quicker, you know? And I mean, to this day, my dad works for construction with Crossing Construction. He's been working there for 20 plus years. My mom works for Tyson in downtown Rogers for 20 plus years as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I'm barely 21, but I'm trying to like elevate myself as quick as possible just to help out my parents, just so they can feel like I was worth, you know, something, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it, man. Like, I just want to, you know, provide for my parents on the early stages in my life right now.
That makes a lot of sense, but that also is a lot of pressure, kind of, when you think about it. So it's like you gotta figure out a way to like do what you want to do, but also take care of yourself, because you don't want to burn out, you know, especially at such a young age. I didn't really start thinking about like my future until I was like 25 years old. I was still kind of, when I was 21, I was doing stuff in the community and stuff, but I wasn't really focused on myself or focused on like how am I gonna help my family. So the fact that you're thinking about that at such a young age is really, really important. So when did you decide to want to become a barber? Why did you make that decision yourself?
Man, the thing is like I never thought about becoming a barber. I was always playing soccer, so I grew up playing soccer since I was 5 years old. That was just my mindset. Like, I'm gonna play soccer for the rest of my life. You know, those kids. Everyone has that dream of playing professional soccer, and I had that dream as well. And not till like sophomore year in high school, I started watching this barber called 360 Jeezy, and he would do like transformation haircuts. And you know how everyone sets their phone on the kitchen table and then watches, you know, mukbangs or whatever while they're eating. So I was doing that, but like for the haircut videos. And they were just interesting. I have 3 nephews who I had the chance to cut their hair every single week. And so I'm like, hey man, like why not? Let's do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
They were like your test subjects,
basically. They're my little
lab
test
experiments.
Yeah, they're my lab experience. And yeah, man, I started cutting their hair every week, even though they were like cry about it and be like, hey man, like nah, I don't want to get my hair cut no more. I mean, yeah, I was messing
Uncle,
them up.
I'm bald. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was messing them up, man. And sometimes those clippers would get hot, and so their head would get red, and I'm like, dang, man. But I was trying, you know, and that's when I actually got that marshal's job as well. So I wanted to have like a stable income while I was playing soccer as well. And then when I was cutting hair, I started cutting up my teammates. And so from then I would cut all of them for free. I'm like, hey, like it's just a free haircut. And yeah, you're not going to get the best haircut, but I'm getting that practice in. So when I get better, you know, I'm still going to be charging you cheap.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I just got into it. And then it was like a little side hustle, and from the side hustle, it turned more into a passion. And I looked above and beyond it. It was like, oh, dang, I can make a career out of this. And it sucked because I had to look at myself in the mirror, and like it was like kind of like a reality check. Like it was like, dang, do you really want to play soccer and go to college and not know what you're really gonna do in college? Because I mean, I'm a big believer in like, you need college, but you don't need college at the same time. At the same time, if you really know what you really want to do. And so it was just like, dang, do I go to college for 4 years? And I was going to go for business, but I didn't know what exactly I was going to do in business. So I'm like, okay, I'm not willing to take the 4-year risk. And my ACT score was very low due to COVID. All the tests got canceled, so I couldn't do anything about that. So I wasn't getting the funds for it. And so I'm just like, okay, so I go to barber school for 1 year and get straight to cutting hair and making, you know, my money and trying to elevate myself for my future and like set a foundation for myself. Or I either go to college for 4 years, play soccer, get nowhere with soccer because professional soccer is really hard to get to, and then just like, okay, well, I'm gonna take the risk and just go straight to barber school. And I did that, and thank God, you know, everything's working out. And yeah, man, that's about it.
What are some of the cons, like the negatives of barber school? what are some things that you didn't like? And we don't have to be specific because I know you'll probably be like, oh, that teacher, got on my nerves or did this, did that. We don't have to call anybody out, but like if you had to talk about like barber school, some things you didn't like about the process, because you sounded like you were strong about that, as in like it wasn't the best experience for me, And if it's a personal one, you don't have to talk about it. But if it's something where like a certain thing you didn't like about it, what would that be?
Oh man, honestly, it's just, I mean, the good thing, I'm glad that they're giving opportunities to all these kids and learn, and students that are willing to learn and getting their license. But the thing is that the school wasn't that was towards like the beginning of the school time when they were open and stuff like that. They were open for a couple of years, but I feel like it wasn't really ran well.
Mm-hmm.
Like either the teaching, it wasn't like, I don't know, when you get to school, like actual school, they already have stuff like subjects that they're going to be teaching that day. Like they already have their whole layout. And that day is like, okay, students are coming in, like, you're just going to do this. Or like, just go roll your perm. Like, that's one thing, I don't roll perms at all because school burned me out on perms. It's just like, okay, you don't got nothing to do.
For those that don't know, what is that?
A perm is basically like a semi-permanent, like, if you have straight hair, they'll put like rods on your head and something like that with like
okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like a little liquid that I forgot the name.
It's basically chemicals that make straight hair into curly hair.
Okay. Yeah,
basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they burned you out to the point where you don't want to do those anymore.
The rollings all single.
I went to barber school thinking I was gonna learn more barber related stuff like haircuts and all that stuff, and I ended up doing more perms. Like I feel like I was at cosmetology school, so I feel like I didn't really get the most bang for my buck at that time. I don't know how they're doing it now, but yeah, man, that's. So
you think now more like just based on your experience outside of barber school, cutting hair, you learn more that way than you did at the actual institution?
Yes, a big advice that I can give, like young upcoming barbers is cut as much hair as you can outside. I mean, yeah, you're not allowed to cut outside of barber school, but the thing is that that's the only way you're gonna learn to get more reps in anything. If it's like in soccer, you gotta shoot 100 shots. You're gonna make, if you make 20 of them, the next time you do 100 shots, you can make 30. Like that's the only way you're gonna get better is by repetition. So with haircuts, cut as much hair as you can. If you don't know how to cut that person's hair, just say yes. Be like, okay, I know how to cut your hair. Even though in the back of your head you know that you don't know how to cut it, but you tried. It does not matter, like, if you mess up. You rather mess up when you're learning than when you have a license and professional to your name, and that's when you're messing up. That's when it hits you.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, there's been times where, like, I've gone to I forgot what business it was, but I think it was, like, in the mall. I think it was, like, in JCPenney or something. I forgot what.
But they had like shops inside JCPenney.
But they had like and I think it was in Fort Smith. It was not local, so I won't be talking bad about anybody here. But I walked in there and I have 2 cowlicks up here. So like it goes up. Like I literally went to get my haircut today because like it was already looking a little bit bad, and I walked in there and it was just, there was no Latinas in there. It was just an all Caucasian staff. And they did not know how to cut my hair. They saw my hair and they were like, they tried looking for this girl named Maria who apparently works there, but she wasn't clocked in. And at the end of the day, like they had to call her to come cut my hair. And I was like, man, like that's just, it sucks that at that time. Now there's a lot. I see now more barbers that are Latino. I see more, there's like some shops here, some, what would you call, like a beauty salon, as well. But back then there wasn't a lot. So it's like you kind of have to just go and just hope that you don't get messed up, even if these are professionals already, or sports clips and stuff, like I've had bad experiences with sports clips too. But for y'all specifically, with this new barbershop that y'all have, because y'all have been there for how long now? How long has the shop been open?
A year like a year and 2 months. We just made a year in 4th of July.
Yeah.
What would you say? And I'm glad that y'all are here. I've never spoken to any barbers before on the podcast. So I, for most of my life, have gone to a beauty salon to get my haircuts. And I've had my little, I've had probably like 5 barber cuts. And I like them. There was some times where there was 1 or 2 that were very painful. And I think que se pasaban. Like, I don't think they were doing their job correctly. Because it was to the point where, like, I would have cuts on my head.
That's not good.
Yeah. I won't say the barbershop. I won't call them out by name. But, like, I remember, like, I was trying to make a big deal about it. I was like, I'll be fine. And then my wife saw it and she was like, "You need to go tell him. If you don't go tell him something, I'm gonna go tell him." I'm like, "No, just leave it alone." But I had like cuts on my foreheads and stuff, and I know y'all don't do that. But what would you say is, like, for the people that are listening, specifically men that go to beauty salons to get their haircuts? Why would you recommend barbershops over beauty salons for men haircuts specifically?
I mean, I would recommend barbershops, but at the same time, I'm gonna give credit to those salons that actually there's women out there or men that do work in a salon that actually do know how to cut hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes there's people that have those bad experiences, obviously. But I mean, for the barbershop, like I do recommend men to go to the barbershop because it's more like a men zone, like
like
more
a man cave.
Yeah, man cave.
Type.
You know, and like sometimes if a man goes to like a salon and it's full like of women and stuff like that, they might not be able to express themselves as much as they can. Because, you know, everyone's listening or whatever. You know, it's like a boys talk, you know, stuff like that. So when you go kick it with the boys and stuff like that, it's like, okay, we're going to go kick it with the boys, like no girls or nothing like that, you know. But, yeah, at the men, like if the men come to the barbershop, you know, I recommend them coming to the barbershop because we specialize more on just men's cuts or I mean, yeah, we can do long hair as well and stuff like that, but mainly it's more masculine cuts. So I recommend men to go to barbershops instead.
That makes sense. I mean, look, the beauty salons that I've been to, I've had great experiences. I have never had a bad experience in a beauty salon before because, like you said, it depends on who's there, right? Who's doing their job. That time that I got cut, the person that was cutting my hair, he had headphones on. He was listening to music while he was cutting my hair, and I was like, oh my god, this is not gonna be good. And it was a painful experience. But I've also gone to barbershops. Like I forgot the name of one. There's one on Sunset in Springdale that I went to, and they were really good. You know, like they were so good with their fades. I think that's what attracts me more to barbershops is the fact that y'all can do like fades really, really good.
I was gonna say that. I feel like with barbershops, I mean, anybody could cut hair, and they could cut hair in a beauty salon, in a barbershop, in a garage, or anything. But the main thing is that I feel like in a barbershop, barbers are more focused on detailing a haircut. Just like how you said right now that fades and stuff like that draws the attention to you. I feel like barbers care more about like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this clean cut. So when I push this haircut out into the world, he could be wondering, oh, where did he get that haircut? You get me? And that builds another client if he asks the person where he got his haircut for the barber.
That makes sense. I got like the haircut for my wedding was at a barbershop in Bentonville that I went to, and even today my wife is like, "That's the best haircut you've ever had," because it's like with beauty salons, I usually will try to go to just one. I try not to change up, and I think a lot of it can also be kind of like where I feel comfortable at. Like I already know the lady. I go in there, I talk to her. But he said chisme, like she asked me different questions about like politics and stuff because she knows that I'm involved in the political world around here. And yeah, I think like you said about it being like a man cave, I think that can also be something that makes people feel good, that makes men, you know, feel comfortable in having conversations. Do y'all try to have conversations with some of your clients that come in? Like, what do y'all try to talk about when someone comes in and like you don't know them? Do y'all have like a icebreaker or something that you try to start conversation with, or are you more of a silent barber?
Well, I mean, there are those silent barbers, but me personally, like, if it's a new client, I'll ask them, hey, how's it going? Like, what's your name? This and that. But when I ask them, like, hey, so what brings you in today? Or like, what are you doing today? And when I see like their reactions and stuff, like they're about to like, oh god, oh man, I'm about to sit back and talk about my day, you know. That's how I figure out like, okay, like they're here either for a meeting that they're gonna go to, a concert, a game, something, you get me. And from then on, it's just like little questions and stuff.
So you read them. You have to
read them.
Have y'all had any requests from people that like, because nowadays there's folks that will want to go get their haircut but they don't want to talk, and I'm not sure if y'all have ever had any situation like that, but I know personal people that will go to a specific either barber or beauty salon with a request to not have a conversation. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody because I feel like I'm better than anybody or anything. No, it's like they take that as a time for them to just
relax.
Like, relax.
Yeah.
Have y'all had any kind of experiences like that so far?
I have
And would y'all be open to that if someone did request it?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely be open to it. You know, I mean, that's some people. I have some clients that work night shifts, so that's like their own little time to take a little like 30-minute nap. So I'm just like, hey man, whatever makes you comfortable, go ahead. You
Just
can,
don't move your head.
yeah, just don't move your head. Sometimes they'll move their head all the way down.
Or sometimes they'll even like fall asleep on the
Mhm.
chair, like for real. Like
5 minutes
they'll be
in,
like
man.
this and be.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll just let them know like, hey man, like if you want to take a little nap, go ahead. You'll wake up with the fresh haircut. That's for sure.
And for y'all specifically, how do you sell Ecstasy Barber Studio? What's special about you all? What can people expect if they come to y'all's barber studio?
Well, for those people who know what ecstasy means, you search it up and it's going to say an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joyful excitement. On the door that we have, that's the first thing you see. Ecstasy Barber Studio, you see, quote unquote, an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joyful excitement. That's what you have on the door. So when we were choosing the name Ecstasy Barber Studio to me, it sounds professional. You get me? It sounds clean.
Yeah.
Because barbershop, everybody has barbershop. Like, yeah, it's a barbershop. Our barber studio is a barbershop. But we wanted it to sound like more luxurious, more like have a strong meaning to it. And we were like, man, what can we put to the name before Barber Studio? We were like Iced Out Barber Studio. We were something.
What are some of the other finalists' last names that y'all were thinking about?
We had billionaire.
Oh, Billionaire Barber Studio.
Barber Studio. But I told them, I was like, man, we're not billionaires.
Yeah,
we're no billionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were, then that would be we would name the shop that. But we were just choosing names, and I don't know if it was him that said Ecstasy or me, but either one of us.
I said Ecstasy and he said Barber Studio. So I'm just like, okay, boom, let's put this together, and then it sounded beautiful. So I'm just like, let's do it,
Yeah, and I mean, we know that the word ecstasy, like it could be of
like a drug.
Yeah, like a drug.
Like a drug.
But that's not what we intended to be. We intended to be because of the meaning of it.
The feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are located at 117th South 8th Street in Rogers. Where is that by?
So I know that there's a restaurant called La Taqueria Real Jacona.
Oh, okay, I've been there.
Yeah. So and then there's El Pueblo Market as well. So we're literally in the little corner of the plaza. So you'll see our sign, and then there's gonna be like a hallway to the left of El Pueblo Market, and you just walk in there, and you'll see our front door there. So yeah, we're on that little busy 8th Street road, kind of where La Taranda is too. And then
but where people mostly know us by, they're like, every time we tell them something like that, they're like still wondering where it's at. We say BJ's Liquors, they know where it's at. See, you see, he's like,
Or you could also be like where like the Mexican folks line up for the Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah, there you go, Yeah, right,
right across the street.
Right across.
Yeah.
So y'all's event, it's gonna be this upcoming November. Once again, it is the Ecstasy Barber Studio on Sunday, November 24th of this year, of 2024. What is this event about? What can people expect? Where do people get tickets?
So Sunday, November 24th, we will have the Ecstasy Barber Expo. You can get tickets at eventbrite.com /Ecstasy Barber Expo 2024. We will have competitions, sort of as student barber battles. There will be 2 student barber battles. It's a student freestyle design, which is $75. And then we have a student traditional haircut. So that's any type of, fade, mid-fade, low fade, whatever type of fade it is. That's another $75 as well. So there's 2 student competitions. You don't have to be a student. You don't have to be licensed as well. Anyone can, apply for the battle. We also have some other professional battles, such as professional traditional haircut, freestyle design, fastest fade, and tag team. And those round you at $100 each competition.
Except for the tag team.
Yeah, except for the tag team. So you can see all that information on eventbrite.com just in case you want to see more details about it.
And we'll post a link too so people can find the event.
We will also have DJ Brian as our live music entertainment. And then we'll have a first and second place, trophies and prizes for every competitor there. We will also have vendor booths there. So if any local businesses listening to this podcast or video, you can reach out to us at Ecstasy Barber Studio on Instagram and ask us any questions about how you can be a vendor booth. But also hit the link evanbright.com to get your your vendor booth tickets as well.
And what is y'all's like goal with this event? What are y'all trying to do? Like why would you create an expo right now?
Personally, we've been to a couple expos. We've been to the Dallas BarberCon. These are big expos that a lot of like big barber influencers go there. I personally competed in the Dallas one, and yeah, we really looked up to these expos, and we're like, dang man, like, I mean, yeah, there's been a couple expos here. I think twice. I think one in Fayetteville and one in Bentonville, I think. But we wanted to bring something more bigger to the table, and I feel like Rogers, Arkansas, or Northwest Arkansas never really gets the attention. It's only like known for Walmart, they're just like, what's in Arkansas? When we go to expos, they're like, oh, where are you from, man? And it's like, oh, we're from Rogers, Arkansas. They're like, where the heck is that? Like, what's down there? It's like hillbilly country. That's what they say. I'm like, no, dude, like, that's south or whatever. But nah, Northwest Arkansas, we have a lot of talented barbers that deserve the credit. And so this expo is really going to help out, bring exposure to all those young upcoming barbers that are, here in this area, or bring more people from outside of, like, in Dallas, out of state areas to come in and see what Arkansas really has in store for them. That's why we're bringing out these special guests, Brandon Blends, Chris Without an H, George Fades, Chopped by Stevo. If y'all know who he is, it's the guy that went viral for H's Alcohol, and Eric Blends. A lot of these guys we've either networked with in the past, Barber Expos, and we got, in touch with them, and they're willing to come down here and show support and meet all their fans and people that look up to them. So, we're just trying our best to help the community of barbers or any local businesses that, want to improve their business or grow their business and need that exposure to come out to this expo and, show support. And we're showing support to you guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting to hear, man. Like I said at the beginning, just seeing young, Latino men doing something like this that's big, it makes me happy to see, people taking those risks. And because, I mean, I'm guessing, is this the first event y'all ever organized? Or have y'all organized events? So what are some of the things you're learning in this process? Because whenever I organized my first event, I learned a lot. And it was like, and then the next time I was better at it, right? Because I already knew what to expect. But what are some things you're learning in this process right now when you're organizing this? Is there something you're like, man, like, I didn't even think about this, but I'm guessing there is, right?
Yeah, so when we have gone to the past expos, like he said, we have gone to Dallas. They're called It's called BarberCon. They're not just in Dallas. They're also in Phoenix, Dallas, Houston, but the biggest one is in Connecticut. And I think it's in Greenwich as well. And it's called...
Shout out Triple H.
It's called Connecticut Barber Expo.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Oh, wow.
And so we've always looked up. We have come this close to, like, buying tickets and buying airplane tickets as well to, like, fly out there. And but we have been to the Dallas ones, and we have gone for, like, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And we've always said, like, hey, like, what's something that draws the attention that, like, this many people are here for, and what's something that, like, that could be, that was well put together, but that could be, like, a little bit more better, like, structured. And so, like, it took a lot of planning and stuff, and a lot of these guys would be there, but they wouldn't be, like, hosting, or they wouldn't be judging. So I feel like that would, like, start the new era of letting, like, barber influencers come out to these Barber Expo events and start, like, getting involved in it, start judging, start, like, meeting their people that, like, follow them on social media and stuff. And I mean, I think that would be dope to have them.
And what are some things that y'all are still working on for this event? Like, what's left? What's for y'all to plan? Is there something that you're still trying to work on to finalize, or do you think that everything's already set and ready for next month?
I think we're pretty well structured right now. Sometimes it's just answering those questions with the people that are wanting to attend. It's just a lot of people DMing us or asking questions about just more in depth specific questions. And that's about it, man. I mean, honestly, it's a very, very well structured event. I'm hoping it's gonna run very smooth.
The only thing that's hard is the vendors. So if you have a local, like, if you're a local vendor or business owner or anything, which is you're selling flowers, candies, shirts, thrifting, whatever it is, shoes, come out to this expo. The reason why is because there will be people that you're trying to target. You get me? A lot of us are young and stuff, so those are your main audience.
Oh, so then y'all are. It's not just about like people that cut hair or involved with. So you want people that like sell merch or sell their own kind of like creations and all these different things. Because there's a lot of small business Latinos here in Northwest Arkansas. As you can tell, when they have like their businesses expos and stuff, there's a lot. Yeah. So you're calling all those people and saying, come be a part of that.
Yep, come be a part of it. And, you know, this is something that you do not want to miss out on at all. Like, this, a lot of people know us around this area, whether it's Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Siloam, all those areas. And they know, like, the attention that we could bring. And they could also bring as well, you get me? So, like, if you're an upcoming barber or someone who's licensed and wants to build clientele for around the area or posting on social media, this is the event that you do not want to miss out on. This is the event that you want to be in.
And once again, where can people reach out to y'all in case they want to be a part of this event?
You can reach out to us on Ecstasy Barber Studio on Instagram. You can just send us a DM. We also have our Instagram links there in our bio, so you can DM us personally. Or if you go to our Booksy website as well, we have our phone number there. Just DM us, ask for a phone number if you want to get more into detail of details on this expo. And for sure, hoping every vendor and any local business, in state or out of state can come to this event, just not only to attend there, but promote your business and grow.
And once again, it's going to be November 24th, 2024. It's a Sunday at the Metroplex Event Center in Rogers. So make sure you sign up for that if that's something that you're interested in. Where can people reach you if they want to book you for a cut?
So we have our Linktree bio on our Ecstasy Barber Studio account. So you just hit the Linktree link, and it will show all the barbers and their profile pictures and everything. And you just click on the link on any barber you would like to choose, and then it will take you to the Booksy app. And then if you already have an account, you just go straight to the barber's account. It'll show you all the prices, what you want to book, the services, and then it'll tell you the time and what day. And then either some barbers, it will automatically confirm your appointment, or there's some that will, wait to ask about the confirmation. But you can just look at us on the Linktree website that we have. And that's about it.
Yeah, this couldn't have been done with the guys that we have in the shop as well. Shout out, Flacco, Juju Fades, Bloody Blends.
So they're helping out too.
Yeah, well, we're the hosts, but they're supporting us through this. You get me? They're telling us like, hey, like in case we don't see it, the more eyes, the better. So they're also like helping us out on being there and making sure everything is smooth and.
Okie dokie.
They're backbone of this whole shop,
Well, I'm glad y'all give them a shout out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to book a haircut with y'all. Whoever's more available, whenever I go in there and check between you two, will be the person that cuts my hair. But
or any of us at the shop.
I'll go ahead and give y'all I don't want to say a chance because I'm pretty sure y'all going to kill it. But it's always kind of like scary when you go to a new studio or a new beauty salon, but I trust y'all, so I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna go onto the app. I created an account like a year ago, and I haven't used it since then. So I'm gonna refresh that. But for everybody listening, that was episode 272 of the District 3 podcast, featuring Yair Benitez, YB the Barber, and John Castañeda. See blesses. Make sure y'all check out their event, the Ecstasy Barber Expo, on the 24th of November. And thank you all for listening. That was the end of the episode. Have a good rest of your week.